All right, now we're going to talk about getting our images out of Lightroom. We've talked about how Lightroom sort of keeps all of our images and all of the settings that we make to those images within the catalog. And now we want to send these images out so that we can post them to our assignment. So first and foremost, I'm going to pick a third image and I'm going to rate it with a red tag so that I have my 3 images that I want to send out for my assignment, my first assignment, which is composition. So now I'm in my library module and I can go to attributes up here at the top and I can say that I want to see all of my red labeled photos because those are going to be my picks for my first assignment. So here are my 3 photos that I want to export so that I can use them for my assignment. I'm going to click on the first one, hold down Shift and click on the last one to select them all, or I could hit Command A to select them all. And then I'm going to go down and say Export. Now, this brings up a dialog box that can seem fairly daunting, but really it's just a list of things that we want to do to these images as we send them out of Lightroom. So first and foremost, we need to choose where we're going to put them. And so I'm going to put them in a specific folder, and I'm going to choose that folder right here on this Choose button. And it's going to be in my flash drive. I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it Assignment Number 1. And I'm going to create that folder, and then I'm going to click Choose. And now you can see that it's going to put them into my flash drive, into folder Assignment 1. I can put them into a subfolder, so I could have created a folder called Assignments, and then I could have chosen to put them in a subfolder, and I could have named that subfolder Assignment Number 1. I'm not really worried about adding them back to this catalog because they already exist there. If there's existing files, meaning if these files have already been exported, it's going to ask me what I want to do with them. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rename my files. And I'm going to rename them with a custom name. And I'm going to type in the name that I'm going to use for my assignment. And then I'm going to, I'm going to make them sequential so that, because I'm going to need to rename each of these files to show which part of the assignment they match. And so for right now, I'm going to make them sequential so that it just makes it my composition assignment number 1, and then it'll make the second one number 2 and the third one number 3. And then I can go into my Finder and change those to reflect what I need for my assignment after they're exported. You can ignore the video because these are not videos. In the file settings, I want them to be JPEG. I want my quality to be 100, and we want to send them out in Adobe RGB 1998. We don't need to worry about limiting the file size. We're going to deal with that in our next setting, which is our image size here. And we're going to resize to fit the long dimension, in other words, the longest side of your photo, and we're going to make that 1500 pixels. You can change the resolution to 72 pixels per inch, and this is the file that we want to export. We're going to export a JPEG in Adobe RGB 98 at 100% quality with a long edge that's no longer than 1500 pixels at 72 pixels per inch. We're not going to add any sharpening. We want to include all of our metadata. We want to include everything in the metadata. I want to see your metadata so that I know how you shot this, what camera settings, all of that's in there. I want to be able to see that. We're not going to watermark our images, and we're not going to post-process. In post-process, you could have it show them in the Finder if you wanted to go rename them right away. You could have them open in Photoshop or anything else. I choose to do nothing on these. Now, before you hit export, and I know it's very exciting to get to the end of the dialog and want to click on export as fast as possible. But to make this easier for future exporting, we can add a preset. So if we click on the add button here, I can say assignment, and this will save it in my user presets. and it'll automatically have the assignment parameters set up for it. Now, I'll just have to change the name and the location for the folder each time that I do this, but everything else, JPEG 100, Adobe 98, long edge at 1500 pixels will all be saved and set up and ready to go. Once we're done, we can hit export. And you'll see the dialog up here in the upper left will show the export status. It's exporting the 3 files. And it'll take it just a minute to sort of process through those 3 files. And then they are exported. I'm going to go out to my Finder. And I'm going to show you that now on my flash drive, I have my assignment 1, and it has my 3 files. If I click on the file, it will highlight it, and I can say, we'll call this one angle of view will be my first one. If I need to remember what my photo is of, I can just hit the space bar on a Mac, and it'll give me a little quick preview of it. So I'm going to say this one is lines. And then we'll look at this one and we will say perspective. I'm just putting names on there just to kind of show you how to rename them. And now these are ready to turn in for our assignment.